Up next, we have a presentation from Aeon Metals with the ticker code AML. To tell us more about the company's Australian copper cobalt projects, I will now hand you over to Managing Director and CEO, Dr. Fred Hess. Good morning, Fred.
Morning, and thank you. Since becoming Managing Director in March of this year, I've essentially embarked on a three-pronged approach to try to reinvigorate investor interest and also to generate shareholder value. Now, first up, what we're trying to do is to continue to explore at Walford Creek. We think Walford Creek is much bigger than what it is already. We're also looking to develop the Walford Creek project. We have a clear and direct pathway to first production in 2025. And thirdly, we're going to determine what our extensive regional tenement package has to offer by way of new discoveries. Next, please. So just the usual cautionary, what it certainly means is for information only, do your own research. But come to the highlights of Aeon and what we have to offer. I think, as I've mentioned, our focus is on the development of the Walford Creek project. And what this really means is developing copper and cobalt. Now, the Walford Creek resource is already very large, well-defined, and the known extent is over 10 kilometres of strike adjacent to the Fish River Fault. This mineral resource remains open, especially along strike to the east and to the west, and importantly, also at depth. Now, we've recently completed high-res geophysical surveys, and these have identified a number of new promising target areas. And we still have extensive gaps in the drilling along strike in the Amy zone. The new flow sheet that we recently developed finally unlocks the substantial in situ value of Walford Creek's polymetallic mineral resource. We have a metal product mix that is ideally matched to emerging investor themes, things like sustainability and renewable energy, battery or electrification metals, and also we offer responsible production from a stable political jurisdiction. Our 50,000 tonnes per annum of copper equivalent production over an existing 14 years of mine life will deliver a competitive operating structure, and it will underpin robust project economics over potentially multiple commodity price cycles. And then there's the significant penetration of solar PV into the overall energy mix, lowering our costs and our carbon footprint. We have a well-developed project development pathway, and this builds on an extensive body of previous study and related test work that has the potential to deliver first production in 2025. As mentioned, we hold an extensive regional tenement package that is highly prospective for copper and for other base metals. And finally, we have the people. I head up an experienced team, and this has recently been augmented with fresh experience and enthusiasm. Next, please. Aeon in a snapshot, our recently completed successful capital raise means that we're cashed up. It also means that we've been able to add new investors to our register, including a number of new institutional investors. And we continue to benefit from the very strong support shown by our major shareholder, OCP Asia. At Aeon, we are building a company that offers a portfolio of battery metal production exposure dominated by copper and cobalt that will also be a major consumer of its very own products through its focus on renewable energy. We're creating a virtuous circle of supply and consumption. Now, Aeon is a vanguard opportunity to satisfy growing investor and community appetite for green mining, mining that leads the way towards greater decarbonisation. We possess a substantial mineral resource already at over 44 million tonnes at approximately 2.5% copper equivalent. The mineralisation extends over almost 10 kilometres adjacent to the Fish River Fault. Now, while the Vardy and Marley zones are extensively drilled, there's enormous potential for additional mineral resources within the 6 kilometre high-grade Amy zone. And this is only sparsely drilled, yet it's also where we have recorded the highest grade intersections encountered to date. We also have a portfolio of metals being produced consistently over a current 14-year projected mine life, with nominal production at approximately 50,000 tonnes per annum of copper equivalent. Our revenue mix is dominated by copper and cobalt. Together, they contribute 70% of the total revenues. But that's not to ignore the fact that zinc, silver, and nickel account for a healthy 30%. This diversification leads to a portfolio exposure to commodity price cycles. Our fortunes are not reliant on picking just a single winner over our long mine life. We have strong, consistent cash flows over the entire forecast mine life. At spot prices, these equate to over 1.9 billion of free cash flow. As I mentioned, Walford Creek is ideally located to harness the renewable energy of the sun. It experiences a high year-round solar irradiance with minimal variance between summer and winter. And we also have the benefit of very large flat footprint available adjacent to the mine site where we are able to site a solar grid. We've embraced an aggressive timetable for completing a PFS in Q1 of 2022 and a feasibility study in the second half of 2022. Now, the reason for this is that it is quite soundly based on a substantial body of existing study data and test work results. In fact, many of the elements recently announced in our scoping study are already at feasibility study level. And this is not something you would normally expect, but it does reflect the amount of work that's been conducted over the past 5 years. Our mineral resources are already over 80% measured and indicated. Our mining scheduling and mine design are well advanced. And we have conducted extensive flotation and pressure leaching test work over a number of years. So we feel confident about being able to deliver within these timeframes. Walford Creek has significant further exploration potential. The recently completed high-res magnetic and gravity surveys of the entire tenement package has opened our eyes to many new possibilities. We're currently in the initial stages of testing these, starting with the promising Vardy Deeps target area. Walford Creek sits at the western edge of a large sedimentary basin. Now, the question has to be, is Walford Creek the only deposit sitting on the edge of that basin? Aon have acquired a substantial tenement package on the northern edge of that basin, and it's our intention over the next 6 to 9 months to undertake further geophysical surveys with a view towards generating potential drill targets. Our extensive tenement package at Isa West is prospective for IOCG and also sedimentary copper targets. In 2020, we drilled the Beauchamp target area, and it revealed the presence of an extensive IOCG system and at a relatively shallow depth below surface. Although the system was only weakly mineralised, it demonstrated that we are pretty much in the right suburb and perhaps even the right street, and it's just that we need to continue searching for the right house address. So we believe that Aon is a compelling investment. We have a portfolio of battery metal exposure headlined by the glamour of copper and cobalt. We have excellent exploration prospectivity at both Walford Creek in our extensive regional tenement packages that are in the process of being further tested. We offer risk minimisation through metal diversification and also the advanced status of our already completed study and test work programs. I think we resonate with investor desires with our strong green mining thematic, and we have very good underlying project fundamentals. So in conclusion, our project timelines mean that we won't have long to wait for the results. So Aon Metals, we have so much opportunity on offer within a single investment vehicle. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation, Fred. We've got time just quickly for one question. So when can shareholders expect results from the current drilling?
They should be coming out progressively. There's quite a turnaround time for assays at present, but within the next month or so, we should start reporting on the infill drilling that we've been doing. And I would hope within the next 4 to 6 weeks, the Vardy Deeps target, we can report something on that.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Fred. We look forward to further updates.